Okay, Wildcats. Today we're looking at Monday, September 24th, Graphing Absolute Value Inequalities, Part 1. That's going to be on page 11. We're also going to talk about Tuesday, September 25th, Graphing Absolute Value Inequalities, Part 2. If you would, update your table of contents. All right, now your table of contents are updated. Let's take a look at the notes. Now, at this point, I recommend getting some grid paper. If you don't have grid paper, you could probably get away with some notebook paper, but grid paper, as you can see, is going to make it a lot easier to follow along on these notes. All right, so graphing absolute value inequalities on page 11. So when you have y less than the absolute value of x, it's a dashed line, okay, and you shade below. When it's y less than or equal to the absolute value of x, it's a solid line because there's a line underneath, and you're still shading below. So if you would update that part. All right, you're probably going to pause and then sketch all that down, so it'll give you a few seconds to pause again. All right, now let's look at the next part. All right, when it's y greater than the absolute value of x, it's a dashed line and you shade above. When it's y greater than or equal to absolute value of x, it's a solid line and then you shade above. All right, so if you would, finish up your notes. Now remember, this journal page 11 is going to go in your journal binder. All right, so now let's take a look at the examples. All right, the absolute value of x is greater than 5, means for what value of x will the absolute value of x be greater than 5? Okay. So first off, we need to graph the absolute value of x. Now we know that the points of the absolute value of x are, when x is negative 2, the absolute value of negative 2 equals 2. When x is negative 1, the absolute value of negative 1 equals 1. When x is 0, the absolute value of 0 is 0. When x is 1, the absolute value of 1 equals 1. And when the absolute value of 2 is 2. So there's your points. Okay, and these are going to be the same points. A little fuzzy there. These are going to be the same points that we use on example 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so negative 2, 2, negative 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2. And you want to go ahead and just make the points all the way to the end. It should make the V. Okay, now because there's no line underneath, it's a dashed line. So the way I would do it is every other point make a dash. So dash, space, space, dash, dash, like that. So dash, space, dash, space, dash, space. Now, from our notes, we know it's greater than, so we shade above. Okay. All right, so finish up example 1. All right, now let's look at example 2. Again, using the same points, negative 2, 2, negative 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2. You know, because the absolute value of x is the same for all the examples, we know it's going to be that. Now, because there's a line underneath, it's a solid line. And again, since it's greater than, we shade above. All right, so finish up example 2. All right, now let's take a look at example 3. So absolute value of x is less than 5. So let's first graph the absolute value of x. So we know 0, 0, negative 1, 1, negative 2, 2, so on. And then 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. Now, because there's no line underneath, it's a dashed line. And again, dash, space, dash, space, dash, space, dash, space, so on. Now, because it's less than, we know we shade below. Let's finish up example 3. All right, now let's look at example 4. All right, so again, let's first graph the absolute value of x, 0, 0, negative 1, 1, negative 2, 2, so on. And because there's a line underneath, we know it's a solid line. And then since it's less than, we know we shade below. All right, so finish up examples 3 and 4. All right, now this page, again, is going to be page 11 in your journal binder. So we're going to pull that off, okay? That's going in your journal binder. All right, now the example page will go in your journal binder as well, okay? Well, actually, we're continuing the examples, okay? All right, graph the absolute value inequality, okay? So here we're going to graph by direction. And the first thing we do is going to move the vertex. We know the vertex of the parent focus is 0, 0. The plus 4 means we move left 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now we're going to graph by direction. Now we know from the problem before that we know that the absolute value is always going to have negative 2, 2, negative 1, 1, h, in this case hk. We move the hk, 1, 1, 2, 2. Now these aren't points, these are actual directions. So from here, we know that, I don't know why it gets blurry, it's getting blurry. Let me see if I can brighten things up a little bit. Or darken, let me darken. All right, there we go. So from here we go left 2, up 2, left 1, up 1. And then from here we go right 1, up 1, right 2, up 2. And then we can keep going, making our V. Now, if you didn't understand how to do that by direction, you can always just graph it in your calculator. Okay, so you're going to go on, and I think I need to lighten it up a little bit, maybe. Brighten it up to see the calculator. There we go, new document, add graph. Now to graph this, one day I'm going to get the lighting right, one day. You're going to press the button to the right of 9, so this button right here, okay? That gives you the absolute value symbol, and then you just type x plus 4, press Control T, and then there's your points. So you can see negative 2, 2, so wait. Let's go a little further. Let's go. That negative 4, 0 is that's your new vertex. So let's go to left 2 more. So negative 6, 2. So negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2. Negative 5, 1. So negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Or negative 4, 0. So you could just graph. And actually, I think it's a calculator. Let me brighten the calculator up. There we go. Now it's easy to see. But nonetheless, you can graph. These are actual points. So you decide how you want to graph example 5, okay? Even better, actually, is if I press Control T, tab, if I go up here, I can delete the equal sign, and I can actually graph the inequality as well. So now I can do absolute value of x plus 4. And so it would actually show you the shading as well. Now, when you do that, it won't show you the points. So what I would recommend doing is graph it first to get the points, and then go back and graph the inequality so you can see here. All right. So nonetheless, there's no line underneath, so it's a dashed line. And then it's less than, so we shade below. All right. So now let's take a look at example 6. All right. So again, we're going to graph by direction. So we take the vertex and we go up 4. So from here, we go up 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we know our directions are -2, 2, -1, 1, HK, 1, 1, 2, 2. So from here, we go left 2, up 2, left 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 2, up 2. And then you can just continue the points. Now, we know it's no line, so it's a dashed line. Okay. And we know it's greater than, so we shade above. There's a phone call. Let me answer that real quick. Greg, Luke, the bicycle. Yeah. 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 Oh yeah. No. 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 Yeah. Definitely. Okay. Yeah. 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 Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. No. 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 Yeah. 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 Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely awesome. You're the best. All right. That was a phone call. All right. So now what you could do is, if you didn't understand by direction, so I go on new document, always go new document when you're graphing. No, you're going to go add a graph. Now another way to do it is delete the equal sign, and then you can graph it here. And let me try to brighten it up again. See it? So absolute value of x plus 4. And then you can see, if I go to menu, view, grid, line grid, you could just graph it that way. So I could actually get my points this way. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd have a point 0, 4, which is here. I'd have -1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you could get the points that way from the grid line and graph it. And if you move the cursor over the line, it'll actually show you if it's dashed or solid. Okay. So there you go. In essence of time in the video, I haven't decided yet on example 7 if I'm going to show the calculator part as well as the direction, but just know you have those options, okay? All right, example 7. All right, so first thing first, we're going to move the vertex. So that -4 means we go right 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up 1. Okay, so there's your new vertex, and they graph by direction. So we know the directions are -2, 2, -1, 1, HK, 1, 1, 2, 2. So now we go left 2, up 2, left 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 2, up 2. And then there's a line underneath, so it's a solid line. And then it's less than, so we shade below. All right, so finish up example 7. And I'm looking at time. We're in 15 minutes in the video, and I think this is longer than normally are. So I'm not going to show the calculator anymore. But just know, at this point, if you're watching a video, you want to stop, and you just know you can put them in the calculator, go ahead and do that. Like, stop the video. You don't need to watch that part of it. But for those of you stopping now, just know that here's your assignment. Okay. This part is going to be part 2. And this part is going to be due. I'll give you part of the class on Tuesday to finish it, but I'm going to check for completion on Tuesday. Okay. So you probably want to start some of it before Tuesday. Okay. Especially since there's 8 problems. Okay. And that's actually both pages. So both pages are part 2. Okay. All right. Now that's for the people that want to stop now and just use the calculator to graph them. But for those of you who want to follow along and graph by direction, you can do that. Okay. All right. So here we go. So we're first going to move the vertex. We start here. That +4 means we go left 1, 2, 3, 4. -1 means go down 1. There's your new vertex. Okay. So we know we graph by direction. Okay. So then we go left 2, up 2, left 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 2, up 2. And then you know it's going to be the V, so you can carry your points here. And I recommend doing it because it makes it easier to do the dashed line and the solid line. In this case, there's a line underneath, so you're going to draw your solid line. All right, so now here it's greater than, so we shade above. Okay, all right, so finish up example 7 and 8. All right, let's take a look at example 9. All right, so example 9. So there's no left or right transformation, so the vertex is going to be at 0, 0. Okay, now graph by direction. And remember, at any time, if you don't understand the direction, you can just stop the video and just graph it with your calculator, okay? All right. Now, in this case, the direction is -2, 2, -1, 1, HK, 1, 1, 2, 2. But that negative tells you need to multiply the y direction by -1. Okay? So then it's -2, -1, -1, -2. And what that's going to do is it's going to reflect, because we know that's going to reflect the x-axis. So it's going to reflect your graph over the x-axis. So here we go, left 2, down 2. And you can see that it's reflected. So left 1, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 2, down 2. And then once you see the V-shaped, you know your points keep going like this. There's no line underneath, so it's going to be a dashed line. It's less than, so you shade below. All right, example 9. So same thing. Now you notice in essence, basically it's both negative in front. So here I showed you by direction. Let me just show you here how I would do it with the calculator, okay? So to do example 9, I'm going to go to On, New Document, No, Add Graph, delete the equal sign, pick the correct inequality symbol, and then negative, absolute value, X. I'm going to go to Menu, View, Grid, Line Grid, And then I can use the grid lines, and let me see if I can, if I need to brighten it up, maybe darken it. There you go. I think you can see the grid lines now. So here I get my point 0, 0, -1, -1, -2, -2, and then to the right 1, -1, to the right 2, down -2, and then you can see there, then you have your V shape. Okay. And then it's here, if I move my cursor over, you can see that it's a solid and it's shaded above. So all right. So with that, that finished up your examples. And way too bright, probably. There we go. All right. So remember, this page will also be in your journal binder, so you can tear that off. All right. Now you can see here that part 2 is 2 pages. It's 8 problems. Now, once you've finished watching the video in class on Monday, you should have some time to start working on this assignment. I suggest working on some of it in class on Monday, and then you have about 25 minutes in class on Tuesday to finish it, and then I'll check for completion, and then we'll go over it together. Okay? So with that, have a wonderful Wildcat. If you're in class, and if you're outside of class, day.